While all eyes remain focused on Winter Storm Stella, one organization is always focused on helping people in the event of a disaster. The American Red Cross has had a very busy start to the new year, even before this latest blast from Old Man Winter. Here's Lisa Sugart.
Anytime we hear of any type of a disaster, of course we know the American Red Cross is there. And unfortunately, they have been needed for some very difficult situations in the last few weeks. Here to tell us all about it is Dave Skutnik. He is the Regional Communications Manager for the American Red Cross, and Bill Goldsworthy is the Executive Director of the American Red Cross of Northeast PA. Is it safe to say these past few weeks have been a blur for you?
It's been crazy. It hasn't been like this since the floods of 2011. Our volunteers, and we're run by volunteers, you got to remember that, have been really busy. In the last 19 days, we've had 30 responses. That's fires, tornado, accident on Route 81. And in those 30 responses, we were able to support and help almost 100 people. And besides that, we do other items, like, for example, the day of the accident down here on 81, you had firemen, rescue people out there all day long. They don't have their lunch with them. We go provide what we call canteen services. We bring them drinks to help keep them warm in that case. It was cold that day. We bring them snacks. We bring them lunch. So we've also had 8 incidences, including that one, where we supplied food and beverages for over 700 emergency personnel. It's been crazy.
So you're there to support everyone else, but you need the support of the community to keep this all going.
Yes, we do. We count on the community. First of all, again, we're run by volunteers. We need volunteers, but we count on the community support for us to supply the people with their, in case of a fire, a hotel room. We give them a card so they can get clothes to go to work. Most of their clothes are destroyed in fires. We also help, again, as I said, supply food and beverages to our emergency personnel when they're in need. And we need the community support for that.
Wow. It's not too often. I mean, when we think of the American Red Cross, we do think of fire usually, but tornado and then a 30-plus pileup on the interstate. I mean, you guys have to literally be everywhere every time someone's in need.
Yeah, we've pretty much seen anything and everything over the last few weeks. A couple of dozen of those 30 times that our staff and volunteers have been out that Bill mentioned have been house fires, but several of them have been unusually large house fires. We've had a couple of 3 and 4 alarm house fires. We've had several where more than 12 people were affected in apartment buildings. And then there's the unusual things. A tornado in February in Northeast PA, totally unheard of. Interstate pileups, not totally unheard of, but throw that in too. And oh, by the way, that happened less than 5 days after the tornado. So it's just some wild weather that we've been in on. And then up in Wilkes-Barre, you had an entire federal building that was evacuated because of a suspicious substance. So all the emergency personnel plus the evacuated office workers, we were on scene there helping support them as well. And then most recently down in Mahanoy City, you have a brewery that's been closed for 50 years and is on the verge of collapse, and more than 20 people are out of their homes in Schuylkill County as well. So there's pretty much been everything but the volcano at this point. Our fingers are crossed, no volcanoes, okay?
That's amazing. And when you go there, it's not like, oh, well, gee, I have to go now, I'm going to leave. You're there for the whole event to keep these people safe and to give them what they need, and oftentimes that's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, a fire where you can be on the scene for only a few hours, but some of these other things, our volunteers have been there 10, 12, 14 hours plus. So long time. So our volunteers have really been doing a tremendous job, but it is actually starting to put a little bit of a drain on some of our local resources. So we're asking everyone out there to either call, click, or text. You can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Go to redcross.org, or you can text the word Red Cross to 90999 on your cell phone, and that'll donate $10 directly to the American Red Cross here in Northeast PA, because we do. We can't do it without the support of the volunteers, but we also can't do it without the financial support of the community.
All righty, so the donations, that's easy to do. And if people want to volunteer their time, that's needed desperately.
That's definitely needed. In Northeast PA, we have 6 full-time employees, and we have 400 plus volunteers. We always need more volunteers. As Dave said, sometimes you go out for 13 hours straight. We need a break too. So we do need volunteers. Even if you could donate an hour a week, 10 hours a week, only once a month, We need volunteers. We appreciate your support. Please join us.
Call the local chapter for that?
Absolutely. Call the local chapter, and you could they'll sign you right up there. You could go on redcross.org, and there's a location on there to say to volunteer, and you start filling in paperwork right there.
All right. Well, if unfortunately you need their help, you know they're always there, but right now they need your help, so they hope that you will be there for them as well.